now you can be walking away down. Walk away down this way now. Yeah.
Don't slow up.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, keep going up to the right now. Keep going away. That's it, yeah.
Over here. That's it. Yeah. Can you move it tiny bit this way? That's it. Why you over and go just point over? It should be right over now. Point over there. Right out like that. That's the job. Are you finished? No.
That was a great performance, in fairness to you. Well done.
Nice job.
We knew we'd Patrick. The signpost with all the signs on it, I don't know, there was
size, yeah, that's perfect now. Great, the man with the yellow shirt will disappear again. You can put that yellow shirt. Lined up here.
Oh God, really?
Hold on. I know, yeah, we should have moved. Yeah.
No good.
Very good evening to all, ladies and gentlemen. How about a huge round of applause for Thomas Reid-Muller. It was very apt and fitting circumstances, and thanks to Thomas and Eureka for coming along to us, and you're very, very welcome indeed. And Céad Míle Fáilte to all of you, a very, very hearty welcome to each and every one of you here tonight. You're all very special to us, really. In the short life of our club, really this is the culmination of huge effort. And on behalf of Coppeen Archaeological, Historical and Cultural Society, you're so welcome. It's going to be short and brief tonight. My part is, in any case, after this, the lads are going to demo the site for you and tell you about the website and the walks system. And after that, we have the official launch by Ian and Jean, and Ian or Jean, we're not quite sure yet, of Westcock Leader, and we'll have a couple of words from a couple of different people after that, and then it's downstairs and party all night into the hours. I'd like to introduce to you our invited guests who are here with us tonight, and these are the people who have helped us be what we are, which I hope is something very positive indeed over the last year and a half since we formed the society. I have a list of people here. Some of the people managed to make it, most of you did in actual fact, but one or two didn't and couldn't make it, and for various reasons. I'll just, let me see, Catherine Power is here on my right. This is the Cork County Archaeologist with the County Council. I'm sure there's a very fancy title, Catherine, that I can't quite...
Simple County Archaeologist that
right.
you do, or just you.
Catherine has been absolutely fantastic to us from day one. She was one of the first people we wrote to, and she's been back to us, and she's offered help from all angles. Terrific person, and yourself and I think it's Ita. You're very welcome here tonight.
Thank you.
No, right, I'll just tick you off here. Just in case I come back in.
Very nice. Repeat.
John Sheehan, our local hero. He's historian. He's the past president of the Cork Archaeological Society. Is it, John? Am I right?
Historical and archaeological.
Historical.
And archaeological.
And archaeological, because John can wear so many different hats. He's an extraordinary person. The amount of information this guy has in his head is just extraordinary. He never fails to amaze us. He gave us a fantastic night here speaking on Kilcrea Abbey, and he gave us a slideshow, and he followed that up with a guided tour of Kilcrea on the 24th of July. John, you're a thorough gentleman. We're very indebted to you. Thank you very much indeed. Catherine. Yeah, it's you, Catherine. Catherine you're very welcome back, Catherine. She had this tiny little break. Catherine is the principal of the local school here, and always a pleasure to go in and out to it indeed. And very enthusiastic about matters local and historical and archaeological. And we touched on it a little bit there last year. Sorry, I should also say Magella, because the two of you came as a pair. And Magella is a partner in crime in the local school here. And they have a wonderful thing going. It's a lovely, vibrant school down there. And I'm lucky enough to go in there part-time teaching music and stuff, but you're very, very welcome here tonight. And we look forward to a little bit of fun in the way of maybe archaeological or historical stuff. Maybe the curriculum, I think, is going a little bit towards that, isn't it? So, right, very own by this now. Here's we go. Very good, John. Where's next? If we next, I'll keep you until later. Diane Carter. Diane, I suppose she wears several different caps as well. Diane came over from England a couple of years back, and she formerly wrote for Hello magazine, excuse me, because she was columnist with the cookery column in Hello magazine, and she has naturally enough edged her way into bigger and better things such as the Band and Opinion, Southern Star, and all sorts of County Sound, and all sorts of wonderful things. And if you meet Diane, her infectious laugh immediately gets you going, and she's a great person, fun person, and a great person to have in the locality. She launched her craft show for us last whenever it was, 1st of May, and did it in great style. Diane, thanks for coming. Now, Michael Manning, another thorough gentleman there, the West Cork Tourism Officer of the Cork Kerry Tourism, and Michael's encouragement is ongoing. He's just the business, he's at the end of the phone there, and he's always more than willing to help us. One of the guys that gave us a G up there in the beginning as well. Thanks, Michael, for always being there. Where are we? Thomas, Thomas is there in the corner, always working away. Thomas appeared at our craft show as well indeed, and he wears many caps indeed. Thomas lives down at the Hollies, down here in Iskeen there, and if any of you would like a chat with him there later on, he's a mine of information and a great chap. Lovely guy indeed, and you're very welcome. Eureka and yourself, you're very, very welcome indeed. Let me see, where are we? Little chap beside Eureka there. That's a very important guy, Patrick McCarthy. Patrick McCarthy, we have a walk system that we'll be unveiling tonight, and we decided to do this in a very sort of on a shoestring budget really, and we made up the posts ourselves. But Patrick was the man that actually etched the posts for us, and I think by any standards the work is superb. You'll see some of them on slides now in a moment as well on the website. But Patrick, he was a fantastic chap to have working with us. He was very, very willing. Nothing was any trouble. And if you've got any carpentry or odd jobs, he can turn timber. He can make all sorts of things with it. Patrick, you're a very gifted young man. Thank you very much indeed, and you deserve. Everybody that looks at the post think of Patrick and think there's a great man with a great future ahead of you in. I don't know what sort of trade you're going to have, but you can head in so many different directions. Thanks, Patrick. Let me see. Sean Carter, very important man here indeed. Sean is, Sean teaches in CIT. He has a whole lot of different titles as well. Sean, what's the latest? Sean is a wonderful character. He is anything to do with walks, or walk systems, or guided walks, all over Ireland, or even further afield, I'm sure. Sean is an expert. Sean came out here and he advised us on our walk system in the early days, and we went on Sean's advice, and he produced a map for us, and it was a terrific item on which to build the whole system. So Sean, he came out 2 days to us actually in order to assess the place, and we went to great trouble indeed. And Sean, we're very, very grateful to you indeed. That's Sean Carter. If anybody else is planning anything like that, he's your man. So keep an eye on him. Let me see. Derry O'Donovan is over there, right beside you, and Derry is one of the people that sponsored some of the niceties you're going to be having later on by way of wine, and there's lovely wine and cheese down there in a minute. Derry sponsored the wine, and he's working for Palace Foods, isn't that it, Derry? That's it. So Derry, we're very, very grateful to you indeed. Thank you very much. And your brother Michael of Round Tower Cheese. Sorry, Michael. Of course, Michael, you're the man that has brought the cheese and all the lovely little bits and pieces that are on. You should see these. It's a shame to eat them, they look so nice. But, anyway, you'll be sampling that later on. Michael and Rebecca O'Donovan of Round Tower Cheese, thank you very much indeed. So we'll be enjoying all that later on. Now, right, I'll next touch on, I'm nearly there by the way. We have in fact at our local heritage groups. We have Ballyne in a scheme. We have Dunmanway Heritage Group. We have Kilmurray represented as well indeed, and we have Kilmichael. And it's great to have all the representatives from those particular groups, because they're the groups that are around us here. I think it's very important that we liaise with them and we build up a good, healthy relationship with them, because really we have no hidden agendas in this business, have we? We're just working for the greater good of the community, and please God, that's the way it'll continue. And with our neighbours around us, we'll be able to hopefully cross the borders and have nobody sort of looking strangely at us. And you can come over to us and we can go back to you. And let's say, for instance, next Sunday evening, we're going over to Granary Famine Monument. That was erected by the Kilmichael Historical Society, and they have erected many, many fantastic monuments over the years around the Kilmichael parish indeed. And we're going over there next Sunday evening, and Michael Galvin is giving a talk on the effects of famine in our local area. So that'll be very, very, very interesting. Dunmanway indeed have launched a fantastic book there recently, a really, really fine publication. Well done. That's a really fine achievement, Pat, and all of you there, well done. Bernie White and the Ballyne in a Scheme group. What can I say? One of the first people I'd say I got onto when we were actually structuring this society for advice, and she's always there. All of them are indeed. They're a group that have, I think, maybe over 20 years, maybe 20-25 years or something, and it's great to get that sort of experience and get a word to the wise and steer you along. And the Kilmore Historical Society. Dennis Long wasn't able to make it. John, you're part of that as well. Dennis sent an apology. Margaret Foley and the people from Kilmichael. You're very, very welcome. I think, right, let me see now. Sean Crawley wasn't able to make it. Eddie Lucy and Finbar O'Brien. Dr. Morris Hurley, I think he's out of the country, we can't quite contact him. Trace and Connor of Coppeen Bar. Endless support and enthusiasm, and not to mention the premises. You have no idea the trouble that Trace has gone to get this right for us this evening. Trace, we're forever grateful to you, and I really wish you well with this business, and it's going from strength to strength as it only deserves to. So if ever you're passing Coppeen, Colin, they have wonderful food, the best to drink. So the whole food thing is, you know, skyrocketing. So come early and avoid the queue. Not to mention her Teresa's father, mother Teresa, and Ned, who gave us great support in the early days. And Ned, of course, is our president. So thank you very much indeed, Ned and Teresa. I think I've covered most of it there. Let me see, we can hand you over to the lads. Oliver Ford, the chairman of Coppeen Development Association, wasn't able to make it. Another great worker in the locality. Tony and Dennis O'Driscoll of the local GA club. They were great to us as well at our craft fair, and great lads in the local community. So Mr. Ian Dempsey and Gino Sullivan over here in the corner, and they're going to do the honours in a little while in officially launching our site, and we'll be looking forward to that. In the meantime, I'll hand you over to Shane and Dennis. I think maybe Shane is going to do most of the talking tonight, as the two of them have been working flat out on getting this site together. And I think I'll just, without any further ado, hand you over to Shane Cronin. And maybe if you give a collective round of applause to our invited guests tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Colin, for out there. So what you see here, I'm just going to stand here for a couple of seconds because I'll have to navigate my way through the site there, and I'll sit down, but I'll have my back to you. Please don't take offence to that, like. But I'll try and project my voice towards you anyway. Now, what you see in front of you here is the actual homepage of coppeenheritage.com. On the very top, our logo and our web logo. Now our official logo up here, CHCS, you've seen it on the screen downstairs. That's depicting Carvagler Ring Fort down below the stone face of the fort. So you'll be seeing that hopefully a bit more in the next few weeks. So again, on top here now you have the banner, which is going to change every month. And what you see here is Billy Hurley and Dennis O'Mahony cutting the corn, and it's fitting for this season. So every season this banner will change. So you're getting a feeling for the site actually being updated, and you're getting a feeling for the different seasons that are going through. So you get we have our welcome message here, and going through the different sections, and our latest news and month's features. Now the home page is really the place where you get to everywhere else, your archives, the walks, media centre discussion. That's this main bar up here. So when you get to the site, this is where you get to the main areas in the actual site. Our newsletter, we have a newsletter set up so we can keep in contact with everyone that visits. People can subscribe by entering their email address in here, and we'd have them in a mailing list then, so we can keep in contact with everyone monthly. We'll send out a monthly newsletter, so it's an electronic version of like our parish newsletter, for instance. So to go through the whole lot, I'll actually sit down here and I'll run through it with you, so just bear with me a second there. Now, so as the actual site changes, this page will also change, as I said, your top banner there, and the latest news here. The latest news, basically, it speaks for itself. We have our launch night here, the details of the launch, which are now, and you can actually find out more information in, it's actually an area called the Media Centre. Now I'll show you a screenshot of that in a minute because I'm not actually connected up to the internet, so I need that I need to be connected up for that. But just to go what the media centre is actually about, it's this is where all of our news and any latest things that happen over the course of the year will be actually posted up. So you'll get a short version in here in the latest news column, and in the media centre we're able to update it whatever time we want. If there was any events coming up around the locality, historical, archaeological events, we can actually post them up here along with photographs and everything else. So the media centre really is the most dynamic and changing section of the site, where you'll be actually be able to find out what's happening around the place, and if we had anything coming up, any meetings or events, as I said. Now down here it actually says the Coppeen waymarked walks, saying that the actual map, the full colour map, you might have noticed coming in the actual port downstairs. We've a full colour high resolution map of the walks map system, and you've probably seen the handouts around there as well. So all of this is actually available online for people visiting, so if anyone wants to take any of our routes around in the waymarked walks, they can actually download any of those, and I'll go through that in a minute. Now up to the right are our Coppeen waymarked walks, so you can actually go through each of the different routes in sequence, or start with all the routes. This column, I forgot to say, is this month's features. So again, this is going to constantly change as we get new things coming into the archives. We started off really with the 5 main sites around the place: Cahervagler, Michael Collins in Bain-le-Blas, Kilmichael Ambush, and our Ken Around Tower down the road. The reason we started off with these 5 locations is because really they're the most important around the area, and we wanted to do this right and get concise information on them. Now, as you can appreciate, getting this stuff together, the images and the information together and making sure that it's accurate, it takes a bit. And so members of our society and other people contributed to this in a way that really we have fantastic features on each of the sites, and hopefully over time, with a bit of enthusiasm and any suggestions that people may have, we're going to actually add different sites and different locations over time. Now, so what I'll start off with actually is the walks, because the walks really are the most the abundant around the place. You've probably seen the posts, a lot of you that are local around here. So I'm going to actually just click on here on the Coppeen waymarked walks section. Now each area has a banner which is conducive to the actual section that you're in. So the fuchsia is there's a fuchsia themed walk which actually goes up north along. The locals again would know this, but if you actually look at the maps, which you can download, I'll show you that in a second. You'll see that route, which is the red route, the colour of the fuchsia. Now, in this section, you can go through each walk and find out details regarding each walk as well. So what I'll do is actually I'll go into the fuchsia walk as I was talking about it there, and here you get concise information on the particular walk that you choose. Now up here you have 3 links. Now I'm going to go through as much as I can here, but to actually appreciate this, you're going to actually have to go on the site and work around it yourself. But I'll go through the main aspects of it there for you anyway. Print this page is just a printable version of this. So if someone wants to find out more about the walk and get a description of the walk, we have marking. The marking is the posts around the place. Navigation, the OS map to actually reference for this, and the coordinates of Coppeen Village in here as well. You have the landscape. Now this goes through the main parts of the landscape, the different features around the place, the hills around in the landscape around, and your different features on the route. Now this is done for every route, so if I go down, we have landscape, your different features there, the mountains, hills, and the different features, and the archaeology, basically your different sites, your ring forts, standing stones, and other sites that are actually nearby or within view of the walk. Now you can download each of the maps, so if I actually click on this guy here, these are all Acrobat files, so most people with kind of an up-to-date machine will have this installed, but there's actually an option to download this program. It doesn't take that long to download, which you can actually view the maps on. So here we have a full resolution image of the fuchsia walk alone. Now you can download all the walks in one file as well, but to actually pick a walk, which the fuchsia walk is actually the shortest walk on the route, you can download this. Now the fuchsia route is marked out in red around, and you have your flags in there. Now I can zoom up in there as well into the route, and all our flags, our posts around the place are marked on the map. Here we have, this is just up north the road from the post office out to the outside the door there. You have a viewpoint, which is this symbol here. You can see in the key here on the right that you have all the different symbols that are in the map. They're explained there. So we have a viewpoint. Now we have a number of viewpoints on each route, and they're actually explained in the description that I showed you there a second ago as well. So our route goes along. You can see the different the contours of the area. The heights are also marked on the printed maps, and you have basically a fairly straightforward navigational map there for yourself. The different the rivers and the boundaries, and your different roads as well. With the main road outside us here on the right is the R535. So now that's marking the actual fuchsia route. And again, keeping in mind with the actual the theme of the route, the fuchsia, you get the key here as well. Your different details, they're all marked there as well. Now we have pocket maps, which are also available. They're actually available here in the bar, and Trays has them actually printed as well on the menus downstairs if you want to have a look at those as well. So all of these, they're fairly, I mean, they're really all over the place. You can actually download these and print them for yourself as well in colour, which is another added option as well. So each map is actually available from the site and from a number of places. The header walk, again the same story. You get your marking details, the navigation, the different landscape features around the place, and your archaeological historical features. Now the photo gallery, I'll skip these two walks, but you can have a look at them in your own time, or look at the map downstairs in the porch if you like. The photo gallery just picks out from different features around the place. This is a kind of a new technology, it's Flash, and it's just of late really that we're able to use this in a site like this, and it's a great way of actually of displaying the images in a slideshow format. So you can actually pause this. This goes through each of the walks, the different routes or scenes in the walk. So you get your different your flora on the walk, and you get the different road scenes as well. Now in here, I'll just there's a little square. This is the gallery button. So I press on this here, we'd actually get the four main walks that we have to pick from: the fuchsia, the heather, the gorse, and the fern. And if I go to the header walk there, for instance, this will pick out that's the header there, and we'll run through the different scenes, and you can actually get thumbnails there from each of the scenes as well. So it's a nice graphical representation of each of these, and hopefully over time as well we'll get the different seasons in this. This is taken obviously kind of just lately, and hopefully we'll get some into the winter and into next year as well, which will give it a nice all-round seasonal feeling. So in your own time, again, you can go through all of these, go through the different images. These are actually downstairs, some of these as well, on the screen inside they're running through as well. So there you get your fern and the different the Montbritia and all your different guys here. So the weather gives you actually a weather update, so people interested in actually visiting the area can actually go onto the weather section. Now this, again, I have to be online to view it. It gives up-to-date information on the temperatures and the different conditions that you have. So you can actually visit Met Éireann as well through this. So again, you'll be fairly prepared with your maps. Between your maps and your weather, you should be fairly prepared to come out and have a good old walk around. Maybe the gorse walk if you're feeling energetic, which is the longest guy. So that's basically the walk section. Now again, I tell you to actually go through that. There's a lot more in it. I mean, there's a lot of information in there and the different things, and you can actually print this all out for yourself as well. So what I'll run through in now is the About Us section, which goes through, basically we have an aerial view taken by Colm there during the year of Coppeen. and the Coppeen sign. And here we have, you've probably seen this downstairs as well, and there's a printed version out in the hall of the society on the annual general meeting. So if you want to admire yourselves as there you are online. You have the different links then in the text as well to our different sites. The main sites, Kennaround, Tor, Cahervagler, Kilmichael and Belnablaw. And again our logo and the society, the president, chairperson, secretary and treasurer there. Excuse me. Again, facts then, frequently asked questions. It's good for visitors that are they're kind of wanting to know more about the society and kind of answer the main points that they might be asking. What is CHCS? What does the logo represent? Which I just said to you a while ago, it's the stone entrance into the ring fort down below. Where is Coppeen located? How often do we meet? How many members do you have? And what kind of activities does your society participate in? And this is all available to here, and we hope to update that as well over time, getting the different questions up. So now what I'll run through is this is really the main part of the site, the archives, and this is hopefully where we'll get features upon features over time from different people that we can compile articles and images on any features around the place, be they ring forts, standing stones, Fullochfias, you name it. So we have a lot of that around the place, and we're hoping to get those properly documented and get a lot of imagery up there for the people that wouldn't be able to visit the sites, because a lot of these sites are actually off the road and people mightn't be able to walk into them. But here we have our 5 main sites accessible to everyone that visits the site. So I'm going to start off here with Cahervagler Ring Fort. Here's the sign actually that's just down the road from the school just down south of us there, and you get your introduction. Now the format for each of these features in the archives is fairly consistent as well. You have your introduction, detail and a virtual tour of each of the sites. Now I'll explain what the virtual tour is there in a second, but your introduction basically introducing it to the site, where it's located and the nature of the site. And again, each time you have print this page, so you can print this at your own convenience as well. And because it's the technology that we use for this as well, it kind of strips down any of the meaningless content that you wouldn't want when you're printing it out. So it would get rid of the banner up here, the menu, your breadcrumbs here. Breadcrumbs actually let you go back, as breadcrumbs would suggest, back levels, back to the home page, back to the archives, or you're actually in Cahervagler. So you know where you are in the site each time, so there's no excuse for you getting lost if you get in here. So you have email a page to the friend as well, which is a handy feature. If you did come across a feature or a site that you thought someone else might be interested in, it's fairly straightforward. You can click on this and you can just enter the email address of the person that you want to send this page, and it will send the address of this particular area to the person that you want to send it to. So it's a nice handy feature as well. So what I'll go into now is the detail of that site, Cahervagler, and you get a concise really description of the site and the history that goes behind it. Here we have drawings from Condat Manning, which is that's actually referenced down at the bottom there, and you have the photograph of Cahervagler, the front, the stone face of Cahervagler down the road. As we go on, I won't go through all this text. You can go through that again in your own time. But here we have the drawings, the plans for when Cahervagler was being excavated years ago. Another aerial shot of Cahervagler, which is kind of an unusual shot to have as well. It's neat to see the 3 rings of the fort and your stone entrance in here. And down here again we have the view from the road. As you go down, you can actually see the fort from the road there as well. And again we have our stone entrance with the nice sunset coming in there. These 2 images here just go through the cairn. There was actually there were artifacts found here which are actually illustrated there. This is actually the remaining site of the cairn, and there's actually a quartz stone there beside it. So if you visit it down there, it's fairly it's fairly recognisable inside basically inside in the middle of the fort. And if you want to find out more information, it's all again explained there. No, so I'll just go through the other 2 or 3 there for you. Actually, what I'll do, the archives, I'll go into Michael Collins. Béal na Bláth, which is just over east of us there, is one of the most visited sites. We have we had the commemoration there now last Sunday, and we have an image of that here as well. So again, hopefully we'll be updating that over time as well once different events fold. An illustration there that we did of Michael Collins in his day, and if I go to detail again, there you have your introduction. Go to detail. Again, we get the detail. This is all just basically the history of Michael Collins, how he came to be, and how what life he led. And we have the memorial over in Clonakilty there. This is the monument over in Béal na Bláth. And again, the monument here, last Sunday actually, this was taken on the annual commemoration, which is a great occasion as well. Down here we have a couple of related links, and again we're going to be updating these once we actually check them out and go through them. We have a link here to the site of the movie Michael Collins, and the chronology of Michael Collins in UCC as well, available from here. Now our virtual tour, I'll just do it for this actually. This will actually take you as if you're actually on the site of the monument now. Now it's dark over there now, but have a look at this and see. We can actually navigate all our way around the site as if we were there. Now that's the monument over. We can go, we're looking east towards Cork there, back south along towards Coppeen, and around again. Now for this, I mean, the monument is the main site, but for other features such as the stone circles, which I'll show you there in a minute, the Corabé or Knocknaroyk stone circle that we took a virtual tour of, it's a great old experience to be able to view this online. Bear in mind that anyone, wherever they are in the world, could actually view this, and it's a great old. It feels like you're almost there, along with the information that you're getting here. It's a great old feature to have. So again, hopefully we'll be getting this for each of the sites that we'll be developing over time as well. Now, Kenna Round Tower again, we have our information. Our banner changes. We have a kind of a unique view of Kenna down there from the main road. And again, our introduction, detail, our different images of Kenna. This is when it was actually being the top of it, the cap was actually being restored with and it was actually a snowy day as well, so it's a nice old unique image to have. Our virtual tour, this is kind of neat as well, because it's kind of an atmospheric image. I was saying to Ian, we were down there the last day in Kenna when we met just recently, and we were going through we're walking down here through the paths and just pointing out the place that we actually took the VR from. The VR virtual reality is what QTVR stands for. So our virtual tour, if I turn around, we have the tower itself, Kenna. We've all the remaining headstones on the graves around the place, the church, and down around the whole way. So again, you get the feeling that you're actually basically standing there. Take a big 360 around the place, get a bit dizzy, and you can actually zoom in on different places as well. You have this panel here, so if you zoom in, you can actually basically see right into the tower there. Now, this might take a small bit to download on a standard connection, but seeming as most of us are going to be getting broadband soon enough, it doesn't make any odds. But it should be okay. I mean, are we? Is right? Hopefully. So yeah, it shouldn't. I mean, we tried it at home there. It shouldn't be. It should take maybe about 10 seconds to download, which isn't. If you're really impatient, sure, you can go through the images. No, so I'll just go through. Maybe I just got to kill the local stone circles actually. Again, your introduction, your image. This is Knocknaroyk Upper, isn't it, Dennis? Yeah. One of the smallest stone circles around the place actually is very unique that we couldn't actually get a virtual tour done of this because it was so small. Even if you stand in the middle of that, it's hard enough to actually to go around 360 in our mind trying to take a photograph of it. You didn't want a massive lens or something, but there we have multiple photos and archive anyway of that. Then you get your different our different stone circles around the place. This is Knocknaroik Lower, which is over Easter Road as well. You can see it from the main road. This is Currabee on a kind of a nice wintry night that myself and Dad and Mick Galloway went up there one night for the winter solstice, and it was neat. It was freezing though. You can actually see it there, the colouring of the image. We kind of exaggerated that, alright, a small bit, but now here you have your Knocknaroik Upper. There's actually very unique markings on that. It's like a fellow with two very big fingers through gouged it into the top of one of the stones, and you can see it there on the right actually there. So it's a very, very unique circle over there, and it's fantastic to be able to see it in different. And again, we have a lot of those images on archive as well. We put up here as much as we can, but I mean there's no point in kind of drowning it out in images as well. There's a nice balance between the text and the images here. Again, we have another one of Knocknaroik Upper, and our virtual view, which I'll show you in a second, actually takes in, this is Knocknaroik Lower again, which you can see, is it Currabee? Oh, it's Currabee, sorry, yeah, that was the same night. That's Currabee over East Long, further East Long as well. So I'll actually just show you the virtual tour. It's kind of neat of Knocknaroik Lower, because you can actually you're right in the middle of the stone circle, going right around to the recumbent stone here, which is facing towards Coppeen actually, and turn right around and go in and kind of get the feeling again of being there, which is kind of a neat feature. There's a stone missing here, I think 2 is it? 2, yeah. So they're the main features, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, we have, again, we're going to be going through all of these. I have Kilmichael Ambush. I won't go through that there because it's again, well, I'm kind of caught for time here. I better not keep you that long anyway. But the Contact Us page here, basically you get, this is an image actually of Coppeen, the post office sign outside, just down the road, just a tiny bit there, a couple of yards. You get all the contact information for us here, our address. The different email addresses to do with different subjects. General inquiries go to info@coppeenheritage.com. Our Coppeen Waymark walks, if you have any queries on the walks, you can actually contact us here. Event queries or submissions into events@coppeenheritage.com, and feedback if you want to give us any suggestions on how to develop the site or anything like that. They're most welcome. No, so just show you the wallpaper. Kind of a handy old thing to have if you want to bring Coppeen or the surrounding areas to your own living room or wherever you have your computer. You can actually download these images onto your own machine and set them as your desktop wallpaper here, and you get your different descriptions of each of them. Now, depending on the size of your monitor, there's sizes that cater for every user there. So if we wanted to, for instance, take the fuchsia and show that as our backdrop, you have the different sizes that we can actually pick here. So if I go, my own monitor is just about 15 inches, so we have the 15 inches. Now there's actually, just before I go, there's actually instructions here. If you click on instructions for any operating system you might have, Windows, a Mac user. We talked about the Mac users, alright. And back to your fuchsia. So if I want to actually set this, I might just do it there actually. Set it as my wallpaper. Actually right click on it and set as background. And I just change my backdrop to the fuchsia. Which is a nice kind of a high-res image. Now again, we'll be changing these over time. We'll be adding more images as we can, as time permits. But you have a nice kind of a selection of the different features around the place. That's the monument over in Tonakilty. not exactly very close, but anyway, it's very relevant to Ben LeBlanc and Michael Collins and the local monument. And you have the local monument there, the fuchsia, Kennaround Tower, and again our stone circle up in the windy cold night. So just go back there to, yeah, there's a couple of others up here. The newsletter, I just mentioned it a while ago. If I click on that, you can actually, you get a description really of what the newsletter is about. So if anyone wants to get information, and there's little or no effort really to put into it, only just put in your email address and subscribe, and it takes care of itself after that. You'll receive any newsletters that we put through the lines monthly, or hopefully monthly, maybe a little over a month in frequency, but it's a great way of actually keeping in contact with all our visitors and keeping, I mean, there's a certain amount that posters around the locality and letters to different people can do, but this is a great way of keeping in contact with you, and of course you can visit the site itself then as well. Now just finally, I'll just show you just screenshots here of our media centre and discussion. Now the discussion forum is a great old feature to have. There's a screenshot of it here. Now I can't show you because I'm not actually connected up to the internet here, but here we can, this is great old potential because we can set up different discussions around any topic under the sun really, as long as it has to do with archaeological, historical and cultural significance, I suppose. We could be gossiping and everything on this, but I mean, sure, this is a great old facility to have because basically gives people a voice. We can get feedback from people. We can discuss the different monuments, features around the area, the walks. So hopefully this will be developed over time. Now at the moment it's up and running up on the web. So if we have any suggestions from people of any discussions they would like to start up, or any comments you might have, we can set those all in an instant, no bother at all. So that's available to you there. And you'll be able to view how many users are actually online, and we had a new user there actually today, North Square. And registered users online, that shows how many users are online and guests online. So if you haven't registered. Now again, but I wouldn't be afraid of the whole registering or logging in or subscribing. This is all very straightforward, and there's no hidden agenda there or anything. So you can actually view this thing at any time and submit your details. If you want to remain anonymous, you can. And again, this is the discussion. So it's very straightforward. Again, you have your consistent navigational bar on the very top here. The media centre, the archives which you're in, which is the main section, your walks again, and the about us. The most dynamic really, I suppose, would be our homepage, the walks, archives, media centre, discussion. So I suppose if you're to look at it in the whole site is really fairly dynamic. So this is the media centre here. I mentioned it a while ago at the very start of the presentation. This is actually what's up there at the moment is a little description of the website launch, being launched by Ian Dempsey and Jean, and you can actually throw in comments here as well if you want to. So if you wanted to comment on any of the events or posts that we made up here in the media centre, you can do so, and it's a great way again of keeping in contact with people and letting them know about the events if you didn't want to go through and subscribe to the newsletters. So actually we're going to add more categories here. We have an events section which will tell you, I mean, the website launch is actually a very significant event there, and you have the general section which would just go through general items that we can show in the news section. Anything in here of real significance or anything that people would be, that the majority of people would be very interested in, will be actually posted in here as well in the homepage if you go to the latest news. So if I clicked on more info, where it'd be actually taken is into the news section, into that article. So the site is very navigable. You can, it's very hard to get lost. I mean, there's a lot of thought put into it in terms of mapping it out and making sure that it was accessible to everyone as well, because I mean, you get a lot of web designers or companies that kind of ignore people with special needs or people with maybe visual impairments and that. So we kept all that in mind with the site and with developing it. and you can manipulate the text. You can actually make text larger in this. If you have a screen to a text to speech generator for those with disabled users who use the internet, that would actually, you get a kind of a program that can actually read it out to you if you weren't able to see the screen. But it's very, very accessible in that way. And as I said to you a while ago as well, printing the pages, you're not going to be printing out reams and reams of stuff. I'm sure a lot of you, when you've used the internet and you wanted to print out a page, you might get maybe 30 or 40 pages of it print out, and you'd only want the one or two. So you can actually, what it does is we've stripped down any of the features that wouldn't be relevant in a printout, and that's all throughout the site. So again, that's our homepage. Just, I suppose, again, your walks, they're all available to download as PDFs, and if you wanted the pocket maps, they're available also downstairs. So listen, I'm going to leave you. I'd only be boring you if I kept you going any longer, and I'll hand you over to Ian, I suppose, for the official launching. So thank you.
I'm North Square, who was the first registered.
Really?
User.
Oh.
I look forward in due course to receiving my newsletter. I think it's probably always useful at these launches. I think everybody knows what Leader, or at least you've heard of Leader. I hazard a guess that sometimes people are less clear on who we are, what we do, or indeed, more importantly, why we do it. And we've been on the go for 14 years, and I think we have something in the region or over 1,000 projects, and our job is very, very simple. In effect, having developed a business plan or a development plan for West Cork and how West Cork communities and West Cork enterprises can continue to thrive and survive and develop. We've done so with a clear reference to what's unique and interesting about the West Cork area, both in terms of enterprise development and probably more critical in terms of community development and how people live and social interaction and so on and so forth. And many people would be familiar with things we've done in enterprise development, like the Technology Park in Clonakilty, like the very successful Fuchsia brand, which I hope you're all familiar with at this stage, and if not, we'll impress that upon you in the future. But in many ways, not least the most special thing I think that we try and do is work with communities right throughout our region, and we do occupy a very large territory. It's about 3,500 square kilometres, and of course there are many, many communities within our area. But our task is reasonably straightforward, and I'm genuine in saying that it rarely has anything to do with the money that we're in a position to provide to lots of different initiatives. And really what we said to communities all along over the last 14 years has been, we have money available. Look within your communities and look within the West Cork area to see what you can work with and what's special. And I think it must be 12 months ago that Gerald Orden and Colin Cronin came to talk to Jean and I in Bandon, in Clonakilty. And you'll have noticed at this stage that Jean says very little in the public context, but she's looks can be very, very deceiving. There's no shortage of words. But when you came to talk to us initially, we were very, very pleased, not least because I think it was the first project in 14 years that we had in this particular region, and it was important for that reason alone. But equally in terms of the themes and what you wanted to work with in terms of waymarking the different walking routes within the immediate environment, but also as well in terms of presenting this online in the web-based format. And projects of that nature are meat and drink to what we try and do. There was no prospect that we were going to say no to you, and in many ways the wonder is that in terms of what you've achieved with the walks and with the website, our grant aid is somewhat less than €4,000, and really it's quite stunning in terms of the walks that we've been on, but also again the very comprehensive website, the information that it contains. And I think it's hugely important that Coppeen in its context, Kilmichael, Bailment Law, Carravagler, Kinna, these are all identified, but the community has an innate appreciation and understanding as to the value of these things, and you look to acknowledge and commemorate them as such. I've looked at the website, clearly as North Square, I got in early, and I really feel it's nothing short of stunning in terms of how you presented the walk, the information, the navigability and the clarity in terms of all the detail that's contained here. And really, I'm not sure that we've seen the equal of it, and it may be that some other people have here, but I really think it's a testament, not alone to you as a community and what defines you as a community, but also to the commitment that clearly you're offering in terms of going forward and compiling the newsletter, the archives, the various photographic images that Shane is insisting he's going to be recording over the next, the medium term at any rate. And it really is something special and it deserves to be acknowledged as such. Really at this stage, I'm not sure that there's much more I can say about it. I think you deserve every success with what you've done, with the ambition that you set for this in the future. I think you've given a compelling argument, plus all the aids and supports that walkers might need to come to Coppeen and to familiarise themselves with all the unique features of the natural built cultural and social environment. And of course the pub is the hub of the social environment, as I would expect. And we were very heartened to see, I think about 3 or 4 weeks ago when Jean and I were here, that the pub offered its full support in terms of putting the map on the menu downstairs. And I hope that works out very, very well for you all in the future. And I've no doubt that you'll get due recognition for the work that has been done, and we wish you every success in the future. We've been delighted to offer what is a comparatively modest level of support to allow you to do that. So thank you. And I just meant to say, Jean is with me, but also Nana Donovan from our board of directors is here as well, that you all know now. So best of luck in the future, and there's a ceremonial click on the mouse there somewhere. So best of luck. Thank you.
Tape or sort of a ribbon to fall across the screen and anything else. Thank you very much. Now, can I ask our Secretary, Gerard Gordon, to say a few words, please?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chairman, invited guests, I'd be as brief as I can, just a few words, I suppose. First of all, I want to reiterate what Colin has said in thanking the people that gave us the help over the last 12 months. We certainly started and we have made a huge amount of headway. Certainly it's thanks to the people that have helped us, the various bodies like Leader and the various people from the different county council and archaeologists and that. I suppose basically we have only one agenda, and that is to collect and compile as much local historical information of culture, nature, of historical, of archaeology. And we've been, I suppose, helped along the way by a lot of people in the locality, and we're grateful for that. It's ongoing, as I say. I suppose we're only really at the start of it. We would like people in the area, whatever bit of information, local folklore, whatever, history, to give it to some member of the society, that it shouldn't be lost. There's a lot of people around, especially maybe the older generation, that would have a lot of unique history, and that could be lost very easily. So I think it is important for our generation to compile that. And I suppose a good few years ago, it was a few of us spoke about the fact where we're living in an area that was I suppose important both historically and culturally, and a lot of events, well, 2 big events that would have changed the course of history, you know. So we felt at the time that if we could have some means of getting that together and compiling it, and like there was nothing for anybody that came into the area that could sort of pick up a map or pick up a bit of information. Now, there was plenty of stuff written about it over the different areas like Kilmichael and Bale, but there was nothing just to tie up the whole thing like Kenna and Caravaggio. But I suppose we've been grateful, and I mentioned 2 people tonight, and you know, I don't think I'll upset anybody by doing it, but I'd say we're lucky to have people like Shane and Dennis Grun in our calibre. With modern technology and what you've seen tonight, it has been possible for them to get that information up on the screen and have it, I suppose, available worldwide really for anybody that wants to check into it. So I think they've done a tremendous job, and I don't feel a bit I feel proud actually to stand up here tonight and congratulate them for that. So I think that's about what I have to say. Again, before I go, I'd like to thank Colin, Chairman, for driving us all on for the last nearly drive us around the bin the times to get on with it. But anyway, he has been the real driving force, and I suppose times when some of us were busy and we said, Ginny, would he go away like? He didn't. And I think we're grateful for that as well, because he has been, he's been the driving force really, like, and he has motivated us to do things that we otherwise wouldn't have done, and I think that's the proof of tonight. So, I'll leave you at that. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Gerard, and thanks to everybody for not going away when we made the shout there, because at times, alright, when the pressure is on, we have to sort of put our shoulder to the wheel. Can I ask Michael Manning just to say a few brief words, please, before we close as the Tourism Officer West Cork? Let me clap there, please.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, like the other speakers, I'm delighted to be here too, provided nobody asks me what kind of a tourist season we're having. But it's not like that really, it's not a bad season at all really. And I can tell you that when you see an effort like this, I think this is one of those extraordinary occasions where you come across and stumble across really a magnificent effort like this in a community, in a small community. And by the way, initially I would like to say and compliment the two brilliant, well-informed IT specialists which have been produced in this area and who have really made this most professional presentation tonight. And of course, as you can hear, he has already half the countryside went up with broadband and all the rest of it. I think that's the way it's progressing in Coppeen. But I think that I've always said this on several occasions, that the whole heritage of Ireland is going to be a huge part of our future in the tourism industry. And I think Gerard Logan made a very significant point there. He's referred to two significant historic events. Kilmichael and Bingabloy, I presume he was referring to, which did, of course, did change the course of history. And the analysis will continue, forever and ever and ever perhaps. And it's quite extraordinary that these two events, as we speak, in our offices in West Cork, in particular this season, these two events continue to be of major importance, of major significance. And so it is very appropriate and very heartening and very encouraging that these two events are dealt with now locally here on the ground by this extraordinarily dynamic and progressive historical and cultural society here in Coppeen. And I think, of course, the famous round turret Kenna, that's a wonderful combination. And I suppose I have to say in compliment, which I've done on several occasions, that Ian Dempsey, I think he played down and Jean, they played down perhaps the significance of their financial contribution. And perhaps he's right there, because the initiative is the all-important thing, the idea and the initiative, which has come from here. But the West Cork leader have, the allocations which they have made over the last 14 years have been made and allocated in the most prudent and sensible fashion. And I think that when the history of this West Cork and other areas throughout the country too, when it comes to be noted and to be written, perhaps many years in the future, I think that the leader programme, and particularly here in West Cork, where there has been a very dynamic and very prudent approach to the development of many projects. And that is very important. Our role now will be to, as a tourism authority, will be to help to promote this area and to promote the wonderful attractions, really genuine material which has been compiled on this website. And I'll be talking to Colin and to the other members to see how they link up with the Regional Tourism Authority website. Because the whole purpose of the tourism industry and the whole emphasis that the industry has and its duty and its responsibilities to the country is to improve the economy of the country. And as far as we're concerned down here, to improve the economy of West Cork through the tourism industry. And so I think that, and Shane made a very significant point that he said that this can be accessed in any part of the world. And this is, I suppose it's almost unbelievable, but this is what's happening. That the access now to sites like websites like this is going to be a huge part of the promotion of the tourism industry for the future. So we are very fortunate that we have this material here, and that we have this wonderful effort. Now I can only repeat what I've said already. It is a wonderful effort, and I can say to the committee and to Colin and to the Gerard and the other members of the group that we will certainly be promoting, because I think that it will play a significant role. And there's been a lot of talk recently about agri-tourism and rural tourism in the context of farming, and the changing patterns and the changing trends in farming. Now, I've always said that the agri-tourism would never replace a dynamic farming industry, but the agri-tourism and the rural tourism project will make a very, very significant contribution to the economy of the people who will live in rural Ireland for the future. So, Mr. Chairman, as far as the Regional Tourism Authority and Board Forge are concerned, we will certainly be supporting you fully in bringing more people into this magnificent, clean, historic environment in Coppeen. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Michael, for those kind words and words of encouragement. I think it's rather significant. I suppose it may not have been possible up till lately to speak in terms of marrying, well, not exactly marrying, but having them side by side at least, Kilmichael and Bailnablaw at opposite ends of the political spectrum perhaps, but being able to deal with that, and thanks be to God we have reached a point where we can do that and handle it as it should be, and leave the political jargon to one side and move on. And I think the really important underlying thing here now is like the lads and ourselves are doing, as a society we're doing as much as we can, but we want the feedback, we want the support, we want the input from the broader community, from all those around us, from particularly from within our own society. I suppose this will be ongoing, where we'll be gathering information. And by the way, a lot of other information has been gathered. People like Sam Kingston now and lots of people have gathered a whole lot of very interesting information on such things as the dance platforms, the creameries and such things as that. And it's only a matter of time. They'll all be put up in their rightful place, just in case you're wondering. And up till now, I think every photograph you see there has been taken by either Shane or myself. That doesn't mean to say that we're not going to put up other people's photographs. We are just dying to get other people's photographs, in actual fact. But it just so happens that, you know, I suppose it's a hobby horse of mine, and Shane and Dennis as well, indeed. We love photography, and therefore we're just passing that on to you. But we really, really need to keep this momentum up now. Like the machinery is in place. The actual background work of this site was enormous. I can tell you now, there was a whole lot of time and effort going in and very little to show for it. And I was beginning to wonder at one point, what the devil is happening here? This will never be built. But it came to a point then that it was structured, and then the content started going in, and it appeared to the layman to see that there's at least at last there's something happening. But the actual CSS work that Shane and Dennis had to do in the background was very, very demanding. There were many nights that they were tearing their hair out with various sorts of problems, but like they were determined to set. The foundation has been set in a very, very solid fashion. And I think they're talking in terms of it being a huge site, because there is an awful lot of information around here, and hopefully that will come. We're relying on all of you. This is a site for the community. Just because we've structured the thing doesn't mean to just leave it to us to do, because really without actually letting it out into the broader community now, and to the other heritage societies indeed around us as well. Let's put our heads together. Who knows, what to come up with. But just in conclusion, some of our immediate objectives, just a couple of them. We need to get a site map in the village green here as soon as we can, a large site map, right, of the area and of the walks on the other side. We want to enhance the village entrance signs. There's on Coppeen in the village, there are 3 of them actually. Maybe hand-painted replacements or some such thing. The lads also have an idea. They want to do a DVD of Bengal Harvest Festival, past and present. It's like there has been, Sam Kingston in particular has a whole archive of old recordings, video recordings of Bengal Harvest Festival, with loads of people that have passed on, and loads of people that were in short pants in those days and now in very long pantses and very high into the air and stuff like that. And that's an idea we're also working with. And we also have Labawan up the road here in the forestry, Catherine, where we spent a very miserable day, but a group of us assessing that. We want to make that accessible to the public. And we'll hopefully, once this information is on our website, it's very easy to transfer that into written form. So we're also bearing in mind the fact that we may do a journal or a booklet or a book, who knows. And of course, it's ongoing, gathering the information for the website. We really, really need everybody to keep it coming, because it's only as good as the information that's up there. The actual structure is there now. All we need to do is add to these guys and have a list going way down. Don't be on the floor eventually, hopefully. And the other ambition we have is have an even more enjoyable coming season than the last one we had, because I think, thanks be to God, it's going very, very well here. We have a fantastic old society here, and it's good humoured, it's relaxed, and I think we're making inroads, we're achieving, and long may it continue. I want to thank particularly Ian and Jean of West Cork Leader and all at West Cork Leader for their ongoing advice and support. The money, I think, is, I won't say it's incidental, but it's just a part of it. Their advice and their support and the friendliness. I mean, apart from everything, they're two of the nicest people that lots of us know, and it really means such a lot. And you know, they're at the end of the phone, and they have most of the answers to most of the problems that we come up with, and they're great with the advice, and it's a real, absolute pleasure, first and foremost, to deal with you both. And it's great to have you here tonight. Stop, take that rubbish look out of your eye there. I thought you might actually do perform the official opening tonight, but yeah. Oh. That's a load of statement. That's a load of statement. Well, anyway, thank you very, very much indeed. Trace and Connor at Coppeen, for your ongoing generous hospitality and the use of the premises. Thank you so much, and you'll see what we mean in just a minute. When you go down stairs in a minute, just take a look at the table on which the cheese and wine is laid out. You've got some heather, you've got some fern, you've got some gorse in blue, where have you found it, and you've got some fuchsia. And this is all Trace's idea, so she's fantastic. Michael and Rebecca O'Donovan around Tower Cheese for your very generous sponsorship of cheese, and Derry O'Donovan again of Palace Foods for his generous sponsorship of wine for this occasion. Thomas Reed-Muller for his wonderful harp playing. Thank you very much, Thomas. We should have come up sooner and have been here to listen to it, because what we got was just, I think, just perfect. Thank you very much indeed. Ganjo Kelleher, my old sparring partner over here. We've done many weddings together. Me and the camera, and we tripping over one another and everything. Was a fantastic character. Denja, thank you very much for coming along tonight. And I also like to thank the media personnel that will be handling the information, and hopefully there'll be an article in the paper shortly, and we thank all concerned. Particularly a huge thank you to our invited guests, because they're the lubrication that keeps the cogs of this society turning smoothly, and thank you very much indeed. I can't let it go without saying a special thanks to my two sons, Shane and Dennis. I'm very, very proud of you. Thank you. Keep an eye on the website, spread the word, send coppeenheritage.com to everybody you know on the planet. And if you happen to know someone outside it, better again. Don't forget, next Sunday evening at Granariach Famine Monument, Michael Galvin is going to give us a lecture on the effects of famine in the locality. And I'd just like to thank Michael as well, because he's our in-house expert, you could say, on all things historical, archaeological, and God knows you name it, roguery as well. Michael, thank you very much for all your help, and we're looking forward to next Sunday evening. And if it's half as good as this, of course, is a National European Heritage Week event, and if it's half as good as last year's with Michael down at Kenna, God, it'll be an event to remember. That was some evening, Michael. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. And on Wednesday, the 5th of October, John Old Murphy of Macroom is going to come here, and the creamery story is the theme. John Noel was a creamery manager in lots of the local creameries and went up the ladder. He has an amazing amount of information on creameries, and I think that's something that, you know, that's extremely interesting. We're looking forward to that. And Friday, lastly, Friday the 4th of November, there's a table quiz here. And all we say is remember last year. That's one great night. So 4th of November, anybody would like to send on a team, please do. So, huge thanks to everybody, all our society members, all of you who came tonight, and particularly Ian and Jean for doing the honours and for supporting us so well. And we'll be, all those little, the other little ideas I mentioned there, we'll be talking to you about those. We'll be talking to you. Yes, so it's ongoing. And thank you very much indeed. There's a lovely cheese and wine reception ready for you downstairs. I'm sorry it's gone a little over time, but hopefully this is worth it. So, Gormila Mahagav, thank you very much indeed. What time Sunday evening? 6 p.m. And if you don't know where it is, if you don't know where Grano Rake is, and lots of people might be from outside the area, meet in Coppeen at 5:30, and we'll take the people over there. That's actually advertised on the official websites and stuff. Meet in Coppeen, assembling in Coppeen at 5:30, leaving at 5:45. It's only about 3 or 4 minutes over the road from here, but it mightn't be that easily found. So Coppeen between 5:30 and 5:45. So that's it. Anybody else have anything else to say? Maybe.
Can I just add one
Catherine?
thing? Yeah, of course, I never stop
Catherine
talking.
Power.
It's Heritage Week next week, and I have a list of events too next week from Sunday until there. I have a poster there, and if anybody wants me to email another one, I will do so, or a wad of them. But there is or was a gold exhibition in the Fitzgerald's Park, Cork Public Museum, and some of the pieces were on loan from all over the world, because when the gold hoards were found by the antiquarians in the end of the 19th century, the beginning of the 20th, there was one around Coppeen, and at the time some of them went to the British Museum and some of them were in our National Museum now, but others are actually in Australia as well. And for part of Cork Cultural Year, Stella Cherry, the curator in the Fitzgerald's Park Museum, spent a lot of money getting the gold, some of the gold back on loan. And as far as I know, I saw the gold exhibition myself. It was launched a few weeks ago, and I think it's still on until about the second week of September. It would probably, if you ring up the public museum, they're closed on Saturdays, but they're actually open on Sunday afternoon. But I'm sure pieces from the Coppeen hoard are there. And if not, you know, the pieces are beautiful. They're actually Bronze Age, and the gold is probably Wicklow gold. And it's very fine, and the engravings on them are absolutely stunning. And they're lunula and torques and penannular bracelets, and they're fabulous. There was a phase of modern jewellery copying them a few years ago, but you should just go and see it. It's spectacular, and the whole museum now has a new extension. And for the kids, there's a giant elk, Cerberus megoscerus, you know, the 10-foot span antler. Kids would love that. And then there's Michael Collins as well, and then there's archaeology and history, and it's a wonderful exhibition. But the gold is upstairs, and funnily enough, the gold hoards are actually around mid to this part of West Cork. You know, there's a few of them in that area, you know, in the Bronze Age. So I wonder, was there a working place for gold making, which we know nothing about, somewhere not far from, let's say where I live, to here, you know.
Start digging tomorrow.
Well, no metal detectors. You know, but it's beautiful. The gold is beautiful, absolutely intricate and so well made. Some of it are thin wires, fusing together to make bracelets, intertwining. It's fantastic stuff. So ring the museum and just check. A few of you could always go in there, you know, and ask Stella to show you around or something.
Does anybody know which fort that there was supposed to be found in a fort in Coppeen?
That's
two
right.
forts in Coppeen.
That's right.
Is there any idea which one it was? Any of you had anything to that?
The information that I had in that column, did we discuss that?
We did actually.
And I think, talking at one time, just I'm calling from memory in this case now, I think Professor O'Kelly said to me it was the one that the road was cut through, which is small.
That's right. Yes.
No, I could be very, very wrong in that, but he did discuss it. But he also mentioned pipes and Catherine
That's
over
right, yeah,
Coppeen
yeah.
pipes and
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
bronze pipes, I think.
Oh.
I don't know where they are. They're possibly in the British Museum.
A lot of stuff is in the British Museum because we were part of the Empire then or whatever, and a lot is over there. Yeah.
But Peter Scandon actually of Canavy sent me a photograph there some time back of the Coppeen gold. I think there were 3 or 4 items in it, and it was beautiful. That's
absolutely
very interesting
magnificent,
to see that
and
it's
actually,
there.
as a display, the display that they have there, to give you ideas of a display, they have a wonderful display with it. It's beautiful.
It will be in there
for an
next week.
exhibition yourselves or whatever you have, you know.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
that?
Plenty to do.
Are we right? Is that it? Anybody else like to add anything? Okay, cheese and wine. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Dan.